question. For Badge, what things struck you as different odd when you visited the US? I ask this because as an Australian, this is from Ozymandias, by the way. I just happen to remember. As an Australian on holidays, he's on holiday in New York at the moment. I've noticed the place is crazy. They make everything unnecessarily big here: cars, fast food, cereal boxes, toilet seats, and having to tip everywhere.
Toilet seats aren't unnecessarily large.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These are
necessarily large.
small differences, but because everything else is so.
Please hold while we try and get the call back. Okay, we're back. Apparently, one of the things that's different in America is their internet is crap.
Kind of poop.
In fact, reading Reddit and stuff, it does surprise me how bad the internet is in the States.
It's just because big internet companies have decided to. Although I have to say, it sounds like it's worse in Canada.
You think?
I feel like I hear people from Canada complaining a lot more.
Well, I know Etho struggles, but I think he's in the wilderness a little bit. But I'm pretty sure if he cracked the hinges on his wallet, he could probably get something decent put in. Everything's solvable if you throw money at it, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Not everything, but a lot of things.
Yeah, okay, a lot of things. That is something that again is true about the States. It is very money orientated. As a Brit, one of the things I dislike about it is this lack of sort of social responsibility. That individual people seem to be fine and smiley and happy and lovely, but as a nation, you don't seem to care about each other sometimes. Again, you know, they're resolutely not going to ban guns, despite having you know, school children blown away annually.
I had an interesting talk with my friend today about gun control, and I was just like, why? Because where she lives, there's a lot of gun violence in sort of surrounding areas, and I was like, I just find it weird. And I was saying about how, you know, shocked you are that, you know, our police, like all police officers here, just everybody carries a gun, you know. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. We're a pretty gun nation.
Yeah, and the thing is, I understand wanting guns. You know, I've shot guns; they're fun to play with. I think they're you know, shotguns for, you know, skeet shooting and clay pigeon shooting, what have you. That's understandable, and for, you know, for farmers, and to a degree, if you want a handgun, I can understand that to some level. You know, if you want to, you know, protect your home. It's when you can walk into Walmart and pick up a, you know, an M4 or
Yeah.
a 50 cal. And I know, you know, these are state different. You know, some states don't allow it, some states do.
Yeah.
But, you know, in some states you can get the mini can.
Yeah, that is a little. I'm not a huge
all right, okay, so that's probably a bit silly, but an AK-47 or a Mac-10 or something like that. These are things that are designed to spray out bullets randomly.
Yeah.
There is no reason why anybody should need one of those to protect their home.
Yeah.
I think the trouble is, if you make there's this argument that, oh, you know, criminals will always get hold of guns. And yes, they will always get hold of guns. But if you make it so that less people have them in the first place, there's less places for them to get them.
Yeah.
And you legislate, you know, so people can't. And there's always, oh, you're taking our freedoms and our liberties, we're allowed to have them. And it's like, yes, you are allowed to have them, but maybe it's not such a great idea to have them. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or at least, you know, make bullets really bloody expensive. So, if a 9mm bullet is $5 a throw,
yeah, you're not gonna have as much gun violence.
That much more.
Wow, so this turned from like what are small differences between the U.S. and England into
Large differences. But yeah, I mean, it's the same with like this whole thing about healthcare and how it's turned into this hate thing. And okay, I think the Obamacare thing did not go quite as well as it probably could have.
Yeah.
Um, but the concept of having a
Single payer healthcare.
yeah,
Well,
single
actually,
payer healthcare.
it's not even single payer Obamacare. So
Yeah, the idea of having a small amount taken from your wages to put into a national or at least a state-run health service is a good thing.
mm,
It is a good thing. I do this thing about paying for your insurance. You are paying a middleman.
yeah,
The hospitals are jacking up prices. The insurers are jacking up prices. You're giving them your money, a lot of your money. And there's guys driving around there in big, expensive flash cars, living in very large houses from the money you're giving them, which isn't going to hospital. You pay the hospital direct, it's going to be cheaper.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
Regardless of whatever you're paying, it is going to be cheaper. And this idea of I don't want to be forced to change my doctor or whatever they're complaining about. It seems small fish compared to the thousands of
Yeah,
dollars they're paying a month in.
yeah,
I mean, Goo told
yeah,
me how much he was paying for health insurance, and it just knocked my socks off. It's just
yeah.
ridiculous.
It's absurd. It's absurd. It's like that's not again. That's not a small difference between our. That's okay.
All
This
right,
is
okay. There's still small differences. It's for a big nation. And this is going to sound like just America bashing, which is not what I'm doing at all, because there are some great things about the States,
hmm
for sure. But one thing I found when I was living with you is you're kind of very insular as well. It's really weird. It's hard to explain because I go there and I mean, is it a village you live in, or is it classed as a village? Is it classed as a town?
I don't really know.
It's not a big. If it's a town, it's not a big town, is it? Really, it's just is it a suburb, or is it a?
Um,
Because it's in Boston, but it's not.
it's a city. It's not in Boston.
Mate,
It's a city. It's
you don't live in a city. You can't have a city. Boston's the city, isn't it? You're like a little
Hey, well,
a
what? Let's look
town.
it up. Hang on. We'll find
But
out.
whatever it's called, you've got your own police force. You've got your own fire
It's a
service.
town.
It's a town, okay.
It is a town. Yes.
And then I was in the Gulp and Blow, and there was a sticker on the scales in the
hmm
supermarket that was for the town's weights and measures company.
Hmm.
And
Well,
weights and measures is something that's national in the UK. It's a government body. Uh,
so I think the reason for that is because,
but how there's two supermarkets in your town?
but
What are they doing the rest of the year?
but I think that's a holdover from the fact that the city's probably been around for a really long time because, and by really long time I mean for American standards
Yeah,
because
well, our towns have been around for a really long time.
by actual standards, yeah.
But my the village I live in doesn't have its own weights and measures company. It's a very strange, and we don't have our own police department. And I can understand states breaking down because America is massive,
hmm
and there is if you've never even thought about it, the whole of the UK will fit inside New York State. It's the
Yeah.
states is big, and so I can understand breaking it down into states to manage it.
hmm
That concept. But then when you start breaking down the police department into state and then into city and then into town within that city and then even colleges and institutions within that town,
Yeah, it's a
and
little.
I wonder how the interaction between the different departments works. Do Harvard police talk to Boston police? Do they talk to the state police? If they're chasing somebody, does anybody else know?
Mm,
It seems a little unnecessary to start breaking these things down. And I think efficiency is probably lost.
yeah, I
And
mean,
I mean, the other thing is when you have a meal and you can't finish it, they happily put it in a bag and give it to you without thinking you're a sad, lonely individual like they do in this country.
So is that good?
That's a good thing. There's lots of good things about the country.
We make really good burgers here.
They do make good burgers. And the people that generally, I think, well, I've been there, people have been nice and friendly.
Yeah.
It's a good place. It's again, there's that culture shock thing, where there's a lot of things that are the same, but very slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the toilets are the same, but you've got no, some of the toilets, you have no cisterns, so it's all mains powered, and that's a weird thing for me. So I've never seen a toilet like that before. Single ply toilet roll, what's that all about?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I was gonna, I feel like you could do an entire episode just talking about the U.S.
Yeah, no, indeed.
Your issues with us.
It's not. No. It's not issues. Let's get that straight, because people will sit there and go, "Oh, you hate America, and I hate you because you hate America." That's not what I'm doing at all.
Okay.
I'm just discussing that there are differences, and it's interesting and strange.
Okay. Well, that's fine then. I feel like we should start wrapping this up, and there's one more question that we want to get to, so I can talk about the things that I've noticed in the UK. I guess maybe I'd wait until after the next time I actually go and visit, because it's been a while since I've been there. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, do you want to stop it now and come back on another episode, or do you want to?
Well, I think there's that one question that I think would
okay.
be nice to answer.
Okay, that's fine.
Right?
I do realise I have talked a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. This is good. But so the last question is like a serious one that we really probably should have led with.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, you could always edit out some of the boring questions.
What boring questions? There are no boring questions.
There are no boring questions. I didn't mean to say that. Okay. So it says, "Hey, Badge and Blue, I'm a big fan, and I'm turning to you guys for some advice. I'm graduating from high school later today, and it's a pretty big step in my life. I spent the past 13 years working towards this, and now it's over. People I've gone to school with since kindergarten will be gone, my friends will be gone, and to exacerbate the separation between the people I've known my whole life and myself, I'm moving across the entire country, over 2,000 miles away. I'm just afraid for what lies ahead. What can I do to help set my mind at peace and help me look forward to the future instead of dread it?" So my question to that is, why are you moving across the country? Are you going to college? Do you have a job? Like, because as I said earlier, like, I went through a very academic life, and I went from high school to college to work for a year and then went right back to grad school. So to me, going to college was just another big step and another big adventure. And I certainly stayed in touch with all the people that I was friends with. And
I mean, it's difficult to make assumptions, isn't it? But
So, but it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sound like you're moving across the country to go to school. So it sounds like you're just moving.
Maybe it's a parents thing. But...
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that is...
But if it's parents, why are you moving with them? Because if you've graduated, then...
You don't have to.
Are you not old enough to go out and get a job and then...
Do what you want.
Yeah, get rent and move out and stay with your friends. It's...
Yeah.
Not clear, but let's not dwell on that so much.
Yeah, let's not dwell on that. The point is that, especially while you're still young, I would say it's still really easy to make friends. And it's like, it's not just how do you, making new friends, it's that you can still stay in touch with your old friends and
yeah, I mean the internet now is made.
Yeah, there's really like,
make things much easier.
It's so much easier to stay in touch with people and Skype and do stuff and, play games together. We got a lot of questions, and we're not really touching on it this week, about Badge and I being in a long distance relationship. And,
it's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's like we're able to, do a lot because of,
Skype.
The internet.
Yeah.
Skype.
So, I mean, this is something, again, I don't want to go off on a ramble again, but that's what they come here for. Sorry. We often talk about, this relationship of ours would be pretty much unworkable 10 years ago.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Just because of the way we can communicate now.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be able to do that before. And I think that's something that parents have difficulty comprehending.
Yes. I would agree with that.
And yeah, so yes, I mean, okay, they've got Facebook as well. You can do, which isn't the same by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I've got cousins that live in New Zealand, and they still communicate with their
Yeah.
family through Skype. And when I was in the States with you, I was talk to my dad on Skype. So you can do that.
And then also like the thing is like when you're young is really the best time to be able to go off and do exciting new things. And of course it's easy for me to say that as somebody who's older and be like, "Oh, you don't know how good you have it. I wish when I was younger I'd traveled more and things like that." But it's really like it's true.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
that,
Take it from an old
you
man.
know, moving at 18 is not the end of the world. You know, it's a good time in your life. It's when you have a sort of a better idea of who you are and who you want to be because you've gone through high school, you've gone through a really formative time in your life. Um, but you still have a lot to explore and a lot to discover about sort of being an adult. And so it's it's really an opportunity to go live somewhere else and see new experiences when you haven't become really set in your ways.
Yeah,
Um,
you've got no ties. You've got children to worry about.
yeah, and it's not great. I mean, I'm not trying to say like, why are you complaining? Because of course it's sort of shocking that you've spent all this time in your life going through school and you've had a very linear path, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can, all these things are changing and all these people that I cared about, I'm not really going to see them anymore. But the fact is that like this is the best time to do that. Um, I wish it was more, I wish more people in the US took time off before going to college, after graduating from high school. I think that's a fairly common thing to do in Europe, or at least it's
Yeah, well,
more common.
we do have like the sort of there's two schools. There's like the interrailing where you get buy tickets
Hmm.
to go around Europe on a train for like a month or so, or there's
Yeah.
the let's go off to Thailand and places like that
Yeah.
for a year.
And it's not the same as just moving across the country, but you'll still find that moving to the other side of the country, like I've lived in California and Boston, and they're the same, but they're also different. Now, it's not the same as the differences between um, the UK and US that like Badge went on
Waffled
about.
and bored everybody around.
No, no, no. I mean, I think that's interesting to talk about different cultures. But I think you'll find that moving someplace else, it's exciting. Um, living in a small town or whatever. And I'm not assuming you live in a small town, but wherever you lived, it is exciting to see other things. And it's not just exciting to go visit those places, but to live and to really be a part of that culture. I think it's better to do it when you're younger. Like
Yes,
I know I keep saying that, but it's like it's so much better to do that when you're younger than when you're older and you're like, oh, but now I have a mortgage to pay.
but what they haven't said what they're planning on doing.
Yeah, so that's why it's a little hard for us to give more specific advice because, I don't, wait, what's the dilly?
Yeah. Are you going to go? It's weird, isn't it? Hang on, because you graduated. Well, graduated from high school. Okay, so that's what 16, 18.
It's 17, 18, 19, depending. I graduated at 18, so I would assume 18.
Okay, so that's and with that, what can you do?
What do you mean?
I mean, that's not a degree, is it?
It's a high school degree, and a lot of people that's what they do. I mean, you didn't go to college, right?
Oh, which college?
No, Goo didn't.
Oh, you didn't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, he was out working when he was 14 or something. He's
Yeah.
a different sort of
Well, that's why it's like
way of
it's hard
attack.
to say, it's like, are you moving across the country because you got the job? Are you moving across the country because your parents are moving? Like, yeah, like what's next? And
Well,
it's
yeah, I'm just wondering what options the high school graduation gives somebody. I mean, what sort of job prospects? I mean, presumably you'd be better off going on to further education, but obviously not everybody can
yeah,
financially or intellectually.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just weird.
I mean, if
Philosophy,
you
really.
really want to join the world and you or see the world and you have not a lot of and you're feeling trapped, join the military, man. like I will talk at some point about my experience with the army. But I think that if you're feeling listless in life and confused, that
I mean,
that's a great thing to do.
BTC has good stories about that as well. Where
Yeah, he does.
um, he was going a little bit off the rails and decided that that was good for him. And yeah, it's not for everybody, but for sure. But that is certainly
Yeah.
a good direction to go in. But I mean, get a job. Well, I say get a job. It's sound like my mother now. Get a job. Um, yeah, go out there. Look for something. Do what you want to do. I don't. I don't think there's any necessarily you're going to gain anything by worrying about what's to come. I think the what you're feeling is probably more loss of your friends. That's a harsh thing to do.
Yeah.
To have these friends for a long period of time and then just up and leave them, and that's going to give you an emptiness in the chest,
Yeah.
for sure. I think, yeah, go out there and you've got your own course to plot now. You can do anything.
So cliche.
It is cliched, but
So deliciously cliche. Oh my God.
it is also quite true.
Yeah.
You've got nothing tying you down now, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just getting hung up on that why move.
Well, yeah, no. So maybe this is a lesson for people who want to ask us questions is like the more detail you can give, the more tailored we can say, you know. 'Cause if you're
Yes,
moving to go to college, I can give you great advice. If you're moving to get a job and work, then I'm probably not, it won't be as specific. Um,
but I could probably help more.
yeah, and badge could probably help more. But in general, if you're scared about the fact that, basically, I think the takeaways from this are with technology these days, you're not really away from your friends, you know.
Hey, you can play Xbox with them.
Yeah, you can still hang out and do stuff, and it's not quite the same, but you can still,
I don't know. I mean,
Skype and hang out.
how
What?
much did you hug and kiss your friends? Because that's pretty much all you can't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't drive around and, go to In-N-Out and have a hamburger and talk about stuff and listen to Michael Jackson, which is like what I did with my friends. Um, but I still Skype with a lot of them a lot, and we talk on the phone, and, it's fine. It's fun. It's.
Hmm.
And if you can't do that, then maybe they weren't really your friends.
Oh.
Like go get some new friends, get some better friends. Sorry, I'm really hungry, and I think it's affecting my advice.
It's affecting your judgment.
Your friends are stupid. Give me some food.
but
Sorry.
yeah, I mean, there a lot of things are geared towards younger people,
Yeah.
clubs and groups and stuff. So there's certainly
Go learn a new skill.
Yeah.
I mean, I met a lot of people by going rock climbing a lot, by doing aerial acrobatics and things like that. And you just meet people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Just pick a new hobby that you want to get into. Get into it. You meet people that way.
Oh yes, no, that's very good advice. Actually,
It's also a really good. Yeah. It's
think
like,
of
it's a good way
something that
to.
you've always thought, oh, I'd like to do that, and go
Yeah.
and look for a club that does it and go and do it.
Yeah.
All right, if you wanted to do motor racing, it's quite difficult. But if you want to do like, archery or juggling, then it's a lot easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, you will meet people that. Okay, some of them are going to be dicks, but some of them might be your best friend. You never know.
And then the issue is that you're like, well, how do I, then you start running out of time to do all the fun things you want to do, and then that's a whole other issue. Because that's
The
how I
work fun juggling. Yes.
Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, we've been talking for like an hour, so
Sorry,
sorry.
that's all my
But
fault.
if you would like to ask us a question, please
Yes.
email us
At
at badgeandblue, all one word, at gmail.com.
and
And it would be great if you could put question or Q&A or BBQ&A in the title, because we've already started getting ridiculous spam.
have we?
Yes.
Oh god, it's tedious, isn't it? It's really.
It really is.
Why hasn't the world fixed that problem?
I don't know, because as fast as we're trying to fix it, other people are trying to unfix it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even understand how spam works anymore. I mean, what is wrong with people that are still... in the 1990s, I can understand people buying things off of random spammers and getting stung, but these days, there's no excuse for it.
Yeah,
People should know.
you should know better.
But yes, as I say, we are happy to we're happy to do the sillier questions, but we'd like some sensible ones as well, some serious stuff.
And apparently, even when you ask us silly questions, we'll turn them into serious questions about like why is Benedict Cumberbatch attractive? I guess that's
Poo flavored ice cream or ice cream flavored poop.
ice cream flavored poo. I'm not going to eat it
No,
either
it's
way.
wrong. It's
No,
wrong. It's
why
poop
is it?
flavored ice cream.
No, ice cream flavored poo.
But you don't eat poop. It's bad for you, no matter what it
I
tastes
don't.
like.
I would not eat any of this. This is a stupid question. You're dumb. I don't like you, Badge.
Hey.
Uh, yeah. So that's all. We will probably this will get more refined the more we do it. And go back and listen to the first couple of podcasts.
How dare you compare this to the podcast?
We're way more professional than the podcast. All right. That's all. Any last words?
Penis.
Yep. All right. I love you.
I love you too.